Hi, welcome everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Welcome to another 3ABN cooking episode. My name's Mark Anthony, and today I'm here with Miss Melody Prettyman. Melody, how are you doing?
Just
Good
great.
to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Yeah, we are going to do a show that is absolutely nuts. We're going to do so many different nut items. Melody has a whole bunch of new fabulous recipes for us to take a look at today. So how have you been doing? We've been seeing you running around the country lately.
I have been. I'm running on fumes, but it's been a blessing. It has.
Amen. All the way to Washington.
Yes, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and all the way back through many states.
All right. Yeah, I've been doing a little touring myself. While Melody was over at the West Coast, I was over on the East Coast doing shows over there. So it's been a lot of fun. And we're back for another camp meeting. Going to do some really fun recipes. And maybe we should just jump right in and take a look at some of the things we're going to be doing. And we've got so many things we're going to be doing. So you might want to hit that record button and call your friends and have them come over and take a look. Here's some of our first recipes right here.
Almonds.
Yeah, almonds is so easy to make, and we're going to show you exactly how to do it. And then from there, we can go into almond tartar sauces and different salad dressings.
The cashew nut crusted tofu. Oh, this one, you are going to be surprised about this one.
And a pecan loaf. Now, we've made quite a few pecan loaves, but I think this one's going to be pretty unique.
Yes, it is. And the almond milk. You know, you don't have to buy it. You can make it at home.
Yeah, and it's actually, is it cheaper? It's probably pretty easy to make.
It is.
We're going to show a real easy way to make almond milk. And almond and dried cherry iced cookies. Look at those. Aren't those fabulous?
They are. Wait till you taste them.
So it's going to be a real fun, easy show, and we can get started. We can probably get started with our first recipe.
Yes,
Let me read the ingredients. We've got our first recipes right here. And this is for the almonds. And we're going to use 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of almonds blanched, 1/2 cup of water again, and then we're going to have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, 1/2 cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/3 cup of almonds, and 2 heaping, okay, this is actually for my next recipe. It's almonds tartar sauce, and that's where we're going to use the 1/3 cup of the almonds that we just made. And then add 2 heaping tablespoons of red onions, diced real fine, and a tablespoon of dill relish.
Yeah, and you know, this is easy, it's quick, and it's so cost effective. Now, the recipe called for a cup of water with the almonds. That's during the blanching process. I've already blanched the almonds, so their skins are all off. We want our milk nice and white, so we're going to put them in right now.
And you can, how do you blanch them?
You take, I don't even measure the water, but I just gave it the 1 cup. You put it on the stove, boil it, bring it to a boil, take it off, put cold water on it, and just pops right off.
Peel the skins right off of them.
Comes right off, yes.
So that's easy to do.
Very easy.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of almond milks at the grocery stores, and they're getting to be real popular. So it might be one of those things that you can get it done so fast at home, fresh, and not have all the other ingredients that I would imagine they put in the grocery stores.
Plus, you know, there's a meat that comes with that almond whenever you make the almond milk, so you can use that pulp.
Oh,
that's what we're making the cookies out of.
So we're going to actually use a couple different things from this.
Yes, we are.
Right. That's just nuts.
It is just nuts.
You can use everything.
You know, nuts get a bad rap.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed in restaurants that you can always use leftovers or you know, byproducts into another product.
Oh, sure you can.
Did we get a quiet machine?
No, I'm going to rev her up.
Oh, okay. Sometimes it's pretty loud.
Real quickly, I'm just going to clean this right off the side.
Yeah, so you do a couple runs with it.
Yeah.
And,
At home, you know, I just want to make sure I've got those chunks out of there so we don't have a chunky mayonnaise. Turn it back down and start on low again. You want to pour this real slow. Pour in the olive oil. for lack of time. Now, it actually comes out a little thick.
Okay.
And then what happens when you put that lemon with it? Watch what will happen here. Now I'm going to add the lemon, and I'll just set it.
Okay,
See it
so
already
you're going to let that rest a little bit. Look at it.
Let it
Look at that.
rest.
It's just thickening right in front of our eyes.
Right in front of us.
That's amazing.
For people who have allergies to maybe soy, and there's a soy mayonnaise and they want an alternative, they can use their nuts to get their protein and fat.
You got almondaise.
Look at that.
And that's it. It's done.
It's done. It's done.
Too easy.
It is too easy.
Wow. I've never made almondaise. I've always just bought it. I've just, bought different things. So.
I know.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, I made some almondaise earlier.
And see how it's thickened up?
It's already thickened up. And I'm just going to put that right in this bowl. And I am going to put my...
Is this where we're making our almond tartar sauce?
This is our almond tartar sauce.
Yeah, because we're going to use the almond tartar sauce for some a recipe later on, I think, too, right?
Yes, we are. That's for that nut-crusted tofu.
And then some fine diced onions, and you're there.
Red, white, whatever onions you've got on hand. Look at this. Tell me the difference that you can tell between it and
pickle relish in there, right?
I used a dill relish for...
Dill relish, okay. Now, sometimes if you've ever done this, a nice way to thin this down is to actually have it where you could add more of the juice. If you like a thinner sauce, you just add more juice to it, right?
Sure.
That's a good way to do that.
Look at there.
So just that fast.
Just that fast.
Those 2 recipes.
And this keeps in the refrigerator. At my house, nothing lasts. So I would say at least a week.
Oh, let me see that spoon right there.
Yeah, I know what you're going to do.
Oh, hey, it does taste really good.
It really does, doesn't it?
Just like just like tartar sauce.
It does.
Yeah, and you could jazz it up different ways. So.
Sure.
Amen. Wow. Now there are a couple other things we can do, since we've got the almondaise set up, and I like to make some salads. And another thing that gets a bad rap. Iceberg.
Iceberg.
Watch how you core an iceberg real quick. You ready? I don't know if you've ever done this before.
I sure have.
You done it that way before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's the easy way.
It is easy.
And then you can take a wedge like this, and a wedge like this, and a wedge like that, cut it into 6 pieces. And that would actually be how you serve it, just like that. So I'm going to have you kind of get some wedges ready, and then I'm going to make some different things with almondaise.
You could even take that tartar sauce and drizzle it right over it just all by itself.
Too easy.
It is too easy.
And we've got an almondaise right here, and it is so easy to make salad dressings. And so I want to show you some nice, easy ways that you can make salad dressing just like that. And people will be so surprised. I just did an event with Hans Deal last week over at the Indiana Health Conference, and I served this for 200 people up there. And I had literally 100 people come up and ask me how I made that salad dressing. And all you got to do is take your almondaise, mayonnaise, any type of ingredient like that, and then just add some salsa. And we're just going to take a little bit of salsa in here, and just like this.
Wonderful.
That easy. And people will be so surprised.
You can add green onions to it. Put some color.
Well, what I'll do is I'm going to go right like this, and you put that on your salad like that. And then if you want to hit it with green onions or whatever you want to hit it with, you're ready to hit it.
Oh, well, let's put...
So I'll let you hit some things over there.
Let's put a few almonds right on the top. Look at that.
And you've got a nice gourmet salad. That's the way a lot of the gourmet restaurants in Las Vegas serve their salads nowadays.
Sure it is.
And they go with the iceberg, and they go with a real fancy presentation like that.
Don't they call them wedge salad?
Yep. Now, another one I can do is you can actually take your almondaise and add some raspberry. This is your concentrated juice that you would get in the frozen, and you just get a raspberry.
So it's in the frozen department, and okay, you didn't add anything to it, you just let it thaw out.
I just left it concentrated, and we just give this a quick whip here, and you can add a little more if you need to. So you're going to have a raspberry almond flavored salad dressing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add just a little bit more, because you can make it as thin or as thick as you want.
I could so see some cranberries and some macadamians on that.
Yeah, we've got nuts here. We've got nuts.
We're just going to go nuts.
We got nuts. We can go nuts on this one. Okay, let's see how fast we can do this. And then you just drizzle it on there like that, and we got another one ready to go, just like that.
Oh, look at that. Look at the color on that one. Let's put some macadamians on top.
And I'm going to start an artichoke one. Right here, you can just take some artichokes, and add a little artichoke juice to it, just like that. And we stir this one up, and you're gonna have an artichoke one. And you get so much flavor out of this. So you'd have
just from the artichoke.
Yeah,
you don't mash it up, you just leave it like it was.
You can add some red pepper to it. But this is the easiest way to make homemade dressings in the cream style like this. And usually I'd use a little bigger bowl, but this will work okay. Yeah, you can just mash them up, and it's all the flavor. You're just getting a flavor infusion in there. And we can just drizzle that right on there like that. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, that looks good. Let's put a few.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, let's put some pine nuts on that.
Now, I've actually got some honey here too. So if you want, we can do a honey nut crunch. So we'll put some honey in here, and then you got some nuts. Pick a nut. How about the pecan nuts? That would be a good one.
You want it right in?
Right, and you would have a honey nut crunch. And if you want to really get carried away, add some coconut milk.
Oh yeah, that's
a little bit of coconut milk. You're going to get literally an Hawaiian type of flavor in there. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Isn't that something?
And it all started from the almond.
Yeah, just from one ingredient. See, once you get the foundations, especially when it comes to vegan cooking, once you get that foundation, then you can run with the hundreds of different variations. And that's what I try to tell people. Get creative. Do some crazy, fun stuff like that.
And you know, Mark, I don't know about you, but most people, when I'm out doing my classes, I'm sure you do too, they say, you know, I had my biggest problem with salad dressing. I'd eat more salad if I had dressings. Well, here they are.
Yep, and that
we have some more lettuce. No, it's right back here.
And we got red pepper. If you wanted to do a deep red pepper mixture, you can just hit that red pepper flavor. Isn't that great to pop off the cork?
It didn't work with me, though. I don't have the strength you had. There we go.
Yeah, pretty easy to do. So, yeah. Got so many different varieties of things you can do right here. And you can make them thicker or thinner, however, thicknesses you want.
You know, we have a restaurant where I live in Ohio, and I know they have a Cobb salad, and they charge about $20 for the special Cobb salad.
Isn't that something?
I know. And all it is a half of iceberg lettuce drizzled with a dressing. A lot of people eat it. Oh, what did you put in that?
Easy.
Yeah.
Just red pepper. And you can do almonds, whatever type of looks you want.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
You stick your hands in it. There you go.
But that's the way they do the gourmet salads in a lot of the gourmet restaurants. They just kind of hit it right like that.
Who would have thought?
So, yeah, and different plates. Look how different plates give you different colors.
Oh, let's give a blue one.
You know, you get the bright plate, it'll give you one color. Here's a good wedge. Look at that wedge right there.
Look at that.
And we've got our salsa one right here. And if you wanted to add a little more salsa, we could add a little more salsa and even make it richer. But, you know, it's amazing how the color of the plate actually brings out the different colors that are in the food. So, you know, when you say color is important, even the color of the plate is important. Look how it pops like that. Boom.
You know, when you're doing cookbooks, I know whenever I did my cookbook, it was amazing how the plate made the whole dish.
Oh, yeah. Great cookbook, by the way. I don't know if you know about her cookbook. She's got a new cookbook called Yummy. And this cookbook is really good. In fact, they've got it up on the screen there for you. And now I know you're still working on a website right now.
I am.
What I have done is I've actually put this cookbook on my website. So you could actually go to chefmarkanthony.com and get her book. And all the proceeds go to you. So whatever, books that people order off my website, 100% goes towards your ministry. And we really do need support to help, more people get out there. And it's what helps us on the tours is to, the book sales. So by all means, go to my website and order the cookbook.
The testimonies out there with these seminars are amazing. I know you hear it. I hear it every time I go there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, amen.
I love it.
Well, let's take a look at our next recipe and see what else we have going right now.
For the cashew nut crusted tofu, you will need 2 14-ounce containers of water-packed tofu sliced, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a ½ cup of raw cashews, 1/3 cup nutritional yeast flakes, 1 teaspoon of McKay's chicken-style seasoning, vegan style, 1 tablespoon of parsley flakes, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of Earth Balance margarine, 2½ cups of the breadcrumbs, and that's it.
That just looks like it's going to be a fun recipe to do. Can we get a close-up of this food, though? This is what we're going to be making, and it's on a fish plate. Now, if you look at that, doesn't it just automatically, psychologically make you think that it's fish?
My husband thought it was.
Yeah, and I mean, it actually looks like the fish patties that you would get in different stores, but I think that the amazing part is just putting it on a fish plate like that. I mean, and it just psychologically makes you think, oh, I'm eating fish, you know, so yeah, it's kind of neat.
It was so funny because when I did the recipe, my husband wasn't there, and when he come back, he was actually out fishing, and when he came back, I made this recipe, and he said, how'd you get that to taste like fish? And I said, it's psychological. It looks like fish. There's tartar sauce on it. You thought it was fish.
Yeah,
no fish at all.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
I bet you could do that with anything. I mean, a lot of times we want to take a recipe and actually, you know, make it look like the particular meat that we're doing. You don't always have to do that, especially when it comes to vegan. Sometimes you want to create that food to make it, give it its own personality. It doesn't have to look like meat. It doesn't have to look like fish. It can have its own flavor and taste and look and everything. But other times it's fun to do something like this, isn't it?
It was a fun recipe, and it's been really good. It's been well received.
So how do we do this?
I've already ground up some of the cashews and the breadcrumbs in here because it takes a little longer, kind of noisy, so I cut down that one step a little bit. So this is the part where we're going to make that crust that you're going to put around it. So we're going to add the McKay's chicken seasoning is the one that I've used here. And we're going to do our yeast flakes.
Nutritional yeast flakes,
We're going to do parsley.
And some salt.
And some
Very
salt.
little salt, too, I'm surprised.
Very little salt. So I'm going to blend that up first.
Do you need nuts in there, though?
Yes.
Now, does it matter what kind of nuts? These nuts you don't need then.
I use the raw nuts for that. They're softer.
Okay.
So, and these are cashews. Now, you could use macadamia. I think it'd be really good with macadamia. Yeah. So you could use a different nut on there.
Wow. Now it doesn't take very long at all either. It just blends right together like that then.
Look at that.
Yeah, very quick.
Isn't that awesome?
Okay.
So quickly, we have our crust. Now, this is actually gluten-free.
Okay.
So I used a gluten-free bread because myself, I have a problem with the gluten. So if somebody out there wanted to do this, hey, look, it's already gluten-free. You don't have to wait for somebody to invent a good gluten-free breadcrumb. Do it yourself.
Okay.
And look at all that.
Yeah, and you'll even notice a lot of times the pre-made breadcrumbs that you get out there are actually filled with milk and eggs and cheeses and different things like that. So it's a lot of times I buy the commercial ones when I do events. So I got the the plain breadcrumbs. But yeah.
Now this is how I slice the tofu. You know, this was one piece. One 14-ounce piece, and I just took the knife and I went down and just sliced it. And what I would do is I would take that little bit of olive oil that I put on my my sheet here. Now, you probably use what I use at home, parchment paper, but we're going to use aluminum foil. Most people have aluminum foil at home. And all I want to do is just put a little bit of olive oil on here on both sides. So I want this to bake, and one of the reasons I want it to bake first before I top it with anything is I want to get the water out of it, and I want it to get a tighten up the consistency of it, because if I breaded it now, it would stay soft.
Right, it'd be all soggy.
Yeah, so a little bit of olive oil on each side. I would put this in the oven for about 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven, and I would bake this at 350, and I just keep an eye on it. This is what it looked like when it came out of that oven.
Oh, wow.
So you've got it there. So this is what it looks like, and see how that took on that firmness?
Wow.
Now this is cool.
Is that the firm tofu?
This is firm.
That was the firm.
This is the firm. And so at this point, you can either put coconut milk, olive oil, whatever you want to give it something here to hold that breading onto.
Binding agent, adhesion.
I can just stick that right in here, cover it if I want to, like this. I could stick it down in the plate, and look there. I've got my crust.
Okay.
So simple. You can do so many other things while this is cooking in the oven. Doesn't that look good?
Yeah, and it looks like it'll hold pretty good, too.
It does hold good. It's surprising.
I mean, look at the body that has. Grab that piece right there. I mean, that really has some body. I mean, you can really shake that, and it's not going to go running away from you. You know, like it would break off and everything.
I don't have to take the bones out of it. I don't have to scale it.
Amen. Amen.
Now,
you didn't have to skin it, go fishing? Or
no. Now, I didn't think it tasted like fish. My husband did, but I think it was that psychological, you know. He'd come in and seen the tartar sauce. Right away, he said, oh, How'd you get that
And
to
you could
taste like
probably
fish?
do some seaweed flavorings and different things.
If I was to flavor this for a fish dish, really, I would put seaweed, put my tofu, cover it with water, seaweed on the top,
Soak it.
let it soak overnight or for a few hours just to give it that oceany, fishy taste.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I do.
Wow.
Now see, here it's done.
Okay, so these would go in the oven?
Those would go in the oven, 350 degrees.
20 minutes.
And 20 minutes, 30 minutes until, you know, every oven varies by its heat. I just want it to brown.
Okay.
And, you know, I did not put that butter in there, or that earth balance, but I would have put the earth balance margarine in there. It helps to brown it up, but you don't have to put it in there.
Okay.
Either way, it'll still brown.
Yeah, and if you were going like on a chip program, I was talking about Hans.
Yes.
If you wanted to do an oil-free, you could actually do an oil-free.
I would do coconut milk or water.
Coconut milk or water, okay.
And the same way, I would just eliminate that.
Okay.
You don't have to. And look here, just by topping it with a little bit of that.
Okay. A lot of times I'll take the spray and just flash it real quick with the spray, and that way you use just a fraction of the amount that you would on an
Yes.
olive oil or something like that. But you got to be careful with those spray paint cans, the little spray things, because a lot of those, you look at how many portions are in a can and it'll say like 2,400 portions in a can in a spray. Well, like 1/3 of a second is a spray. And so it'll say 0% on everything, even though there was a considerable amount of fat and everything in those.
A manufacturer goes by weight and volume.
Yeah.
So it could, I think a small can of your olive or your canola has 574 to 700 servings. So that's why they're able to say 0 fat, 0 calories. Well, that's impossible. It's a total fat product because it's all oil. But that's how they get by with it. I call it the Pam spam.
Amen, amen. In fact, we can just slam it like this, right?
Oh,
Instead of with some,
yes,
you know,
definitely.
green
Isn't
onions
that
like
gorgeous?
that. And if you wanted, you can even take your
For presentation.
cashews just
Isn't
like that and
beautiful?
really kick it up a notch.
Sure
so.
is.
All right, well, that was just nutty.
It was.
I've never seen anything like that before, and I think it's a really good product, and I think even schools would be able to, you know, use something like that as a real nutritional substitute for the kids.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it would
all
really
right.
work.
Well, what do we have for our next recipe here? This is a pecan tofu loaf.
Yes.
And we have 6 cups of raw pecans chopped fine, actually, and 2 large onions diced. We're going to do 2 14-ounce packages of organic tofu, 1 12-ounce container of Tofutti sour cream, 3 tablespoons of soy or the Earth Balance margarine, 5 tablespoons of McKay's chicken-style seasoning, 2 tablespoons of veggie sal, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 box of the organic corn cereal, juice sweetened is preferred, and then 3 cups of vegetable broth, 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder.
Nothing's better
Oh,
than onions frying.
I tell you. Yeah.
You know, my dad used to have a restaurant, and he said when business was slow, he'd put onions on the grill.
Just for those of you that have smell-o-vision at home,
Yeah,
it's good.
It
It's
is
really good.
it is good.
Now, the only thing I've done in here so far is I've got some onions that are browning with a little bit of the Earth Balance butter. So we're just kind of getting them a little translucent.
Yes, you're just sauteing them a little bit, and you can go ahead and add your seasonings, your chicken seasoning, your
Will I have your
veggie,
chicken seasoning?
and then your veggie sal, which I really use a lot of
Okay.
veggie sal. I really like it.
Okay.
And because they're high sodium, I don't add salt. This is
Okay.
my sodium
And
in
then
the product. Onion powder.
The onion powder. Oh,
Yeah, with me you can't get enough.
gotta have onion powder.
Gotta have
okay.
onion powder.
So we'll just kind of keep giving these a little saute action here then.
And what I'm doing here is I'm squishing, what's a better word? My tofu.
Okay.
Because this used to be one of my favorite recipes in the whole world before I changed my diet, which was cottage cheese loaf. And this is my cottage cheese now, so this is my tofu.
Okay, I
And
gotcha.
all I'm doing is I'm just taking the sour cream, the Tofutti sour cream, and I'm combining them together. And I mean, to me, it even looks like cottage cheese. Watch this. When you mix it up, look at that.
Oh yeah, sure does. Just gonna come right together like that.
It does.
But it doesn't taste like cottage cheese.
No, it doesn't. Nothing tastes like
Amen.
cottage cheese. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Now, one thing about grilled onions too, that if you continually stir them and you're continually mixing them, they're never going to turn brown. So if you let them rest a little while, they'll turn brown. And then for other people that are doing a chip program, when you're doing a chip program, you can actually use a water saute. A lot of people that are in the coronary health improvement program with Hans, you just do a water saute and you don't need to use any oil whatsoever. Just hit it with water and do a little saute like that. And some people even add a little cornstarch to it and it'll actually do a little glazing action to the product. So,
I caramelize my onions with water.
Oh, hear that?
Oh, doesn't that sound good?
Yeah, there we go.
Now you can add some of that.
That's what I like to do. Just play in the kitchen. Now this is the nut loaf.
This is a pecan nut loaf.
Okay, could I throw nuts in here?
Sure you can.
Can I throw a handful of nuts in there then?
Why not?
Because it would kind of bring out some flavor then from the sauteing. Does that
yes.
pull out the oil from the nuts a
Yes,
little bit?
it does. And what you can also do is you could go ahead and put the liquid in there, and we're going to use these organic.
Okay, so you want the liquid right in here? Mm-hmm. And this is about 3 cups of
veggie broth. You can do your own vegetable broth. You can buy the vegetable broth, whatever you want to use. And this is my arrowroot because I'm not using eggs. This helps to bind.
Okay, that's your binding agent. Mm-hmm. And
tofu helps too.
There's some other things you can use for binding agents. Lentil beans.
Lentils, oatmeal.
They've even got the egg replacer.
Egg replacer.
Use, so.
Flaxseed. There's a lot of products you can use out there. Actually, anything to use egg is the least of my worry when I cook. That is pretty much solved. Now, if you, or your hands are clean, if you want to scrunch up my corn, my corn cereal, again, because I'm celiac, I go to the corn. You can use rice, just as long as it doesn't have whey or casein, because those products are the protein from the dairy. So we want to eliminate that. We want a dairy-free product here.
Okay. And I just like crunching it in the bag, right?
Yes.
The easy way. You can stomp it on the ground and play around with it a little bit.
Yeah, you can explode it real well, too.
All right, so you want this right in the bowl here?
You can put it right here.
Right in that bowl?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get this opened up here. You ever see them open it up and it goes flying everywhere?
Yes, I've done it.
Yeah, they really tighten these up, don't they?
They do.
Okay, just like that. Okay, and then this is still cooking here, still simmering.
I'm just mixing
Yeah, it's amazing how much society at large does not know about the health message, and they don't realize. I found out that the pyramid that the government came out with, that they change it every 5 years. So they still don't know. Every 5 years it gets changed. Yeah.
And you know who sponsors that?
USDA,
Dairy
pharmaceutical companies, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a great vegan pyramid out there. If you're wondering what to do, if you're on a plant-based diet and you want to know in which levels you need to eat your food and what amounts, just pull up a vegan pyramid. It's great.
Okay. Now what I did is I actually created my own pyramid, and I talk about this quite a bit. My pyramid starts with the way I eat. I actually have my biggest meal for breakfast, then I do a smaller lunch and even a smaller dinner, because in society they always have their biggest meal for dinner. And when you start switching that upside down and you have your bigger meal for breakfast, it does a couple really important things for you. The first thing it does is it actually makes you so you're not hungry all day long, so you actually eat less. And the other thing is that you have more energy with you. I actually have more energy now than I did back when I was in my 20s.
Oh, you will. You absolutely
and so you
will.
actually burn more calories throughout the day. It makes you more active, and your weight loss will stay where it should be and be more balanced. In fact, just to let you know, Melody and I together, we have lost at least
100 pounds.
60 or 80 pounds. We've lost 30 pounds in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We just wear black. That's all you got to do. Just wear black.
I love black.
You take it that way.
Well, between us, you've lost weight, I've lost weight, but we probably lost 100 pounds between the two of us.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And I still have at least 40 more to go, and I'll get there. We're going to incorporate that right into here, and then we're going to add it to this casserole. Nice and slow. I don't want to wear it. There you go. Oh, good idea. Oh, those onions. I mean, you can't go wrong. You've got nuts. You've got onions.
There we go.
Oh, all these flavors.
Wow.
Look at that. And it looks a little wet, but it's going to, I would cook this at 350 degrees for at least an hour. Take a look at it. Every oven's different.
We're going to put it in those pans right
We're going to put it in those pans.
The other thing that really helps when you go on that, when you have your biggest meal for breakfast, look at how much money you're going to save, because when you look at the most expensive meals that you eat are dinner. And the cheapest meals of the day are breakfast. So when you have the largest intake of your foods in the morning, which is your, your oats, your grains, a lot of your stuff, that's the least expensive. So it will actually save you a lot of money by doing it, eating in the right direction.
Don't you find this less expensive to eat this way anyway?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, saves you money.
That's probably one of my biggest questions in my seminars is this expensive? And I'm like, you can't afford not to eat this way physically, mentally, spiritually, economically. There's no way. And I'll hold this if you want.
It is a body, mind, spirit, and soul, because
it is.
When you get your body healthier, you're going to be mentally healthier and spiritually better connected with God. And that's why we're doing this, so that people can get a better connection with Christ.
Yes, yes. Now, Mark, I'm going to ask you a question. You drive and travel all over the place. Would you ever think of getting in your van and head out to a seminar across the country and wait till you got there to put fuel in your car?
No. No.
Well, that's the way we are with our bodies. Sometimes we'll wait until the afternoon before we actually put fuel in our bodies. We want to fuel up first.
And then drive.
And then drive. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Now you can use any kind of pans you want for this then.
Sure. I just wanted to show here that you could put that like in a 9x13 casserole.
Okay.
Or if you have bread pans at home and you think, oh, I don't have that kind of pan. Hey, that's okay. This makes a great sandwich.
Can you roll it just and have it in logs? Would that kind of flatten out too much, or?
I have actually taken the cabbage and rolled this up in cabbage rolls, and I have put this in phyllo dough and baked it in the oven in phyllo.
Oh.
So, hey, be creative.
There are more variations to this too.
Isn't there a variation to everything that you cook with, really?
Amen. Okay, so that's that easy to do, huh?
Yeah, look. And here we have some done. Over there, Mark, I cut a few slices of it.
Isn't that the cutest plate?
And look here, I had made some good vegan brown gravy over top of it.
Just like that. And look at, we've got it in a gravy boat, so you could actually make it really look like a real gravy.
It is a real gravy. It just doesn't have meat in it.
Yeah, none of the cholesterol, none of the animal fat, none of the stuff that's
No.
causing heart disease and cancer and
Right.
things like that. So amen, amen. Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, should we go to the next
Yes,
recipe?
let's do that.
Okay.
Let's take a look at our next recipe. And we're actually going to make almond milk. Now, I've never made almond milk before. I've had it a few times, but I've never actually made it. We're going to have 1 cup of blanched almonds, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of agave nectar, and 1 quart of water. All right, well, here we are for our next recipe, and almond milk.
Yeah.
I've never made it. I've had it before.
It's not bad. Now, one thing you do have to have is you have to have a nut bag.
Okay.
So I bought a nut bag. They're very inexpensive, $7 upwards, but it really helps. You can use cheesecloth, paper towel break. So I just bought this inexpensive nut bag, and there's a reason why I like doing this almond milk too, is because I'm going to keep my pulp to use for my cookies. I don't want to waste this nut. I want to use everything from the beginning to the end.
Very good.
So
Very good.
here's my nuts. Almonds. I'm going to pour
And then
them
later
in.
on, you can use this for a hat. We could
Sure you can.
Have a number of different applications. You can hold all your nuts in it. We can just have a little nut bag.
A squirrel bag.
Give it to one squirrel. He'll have all the nuts for the whole season.
I'm going to put a little bit of salt, just a little bit. If you don't want to use salt, don't use it.
Just almond salt and water.
A little bit of, I put a little bit of agave nectar in there. Even though almonds have a sweeter taste to them, I found out when I made my first recipe when I was trying it, it did need a little sugar. So I put the agave nectar in there. And then a quart of water,
Okay.
or as much of a quart you can get.
Whole quart of water. So it doesn't take a lot of nuts.
No,
I mean,
that's
your nuts is just a fraction of what you got in there. So they do go a long way to make a milk.
They do.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to blend this, so I'm going to be quiet for
whip it
just a
up.
moment.
That's not bad. Looks like a tornado inside. Kids could do this for an experiment. It actually looks like real milk.
Well, wait till you see this process.
Does it need another whipping or anything? Or
No, it's fine. It's fine.
this is nuts.
It is nuts. It's crazy. You know, nuts get such a bad rap too.
Yeah.
You know, everybody says, oh, they're fat, but what kind of a fat are they? They're an essential fat.
You know, 90% is unsaturated.
That's right.
Yeah.
And almonds, what are they high in? Amino acids.
And protein and...
Exactly. And the best thing about the almond or any nuts is it's got manganese in there. And that's an element, a mineral that we really need. Now look at this. Pull this little thing up here. Look at that white. Look how white.
Look how white. I mean, it's so much clearer than any milk you would ever find anyway.
And this is fun, you guys.
Wow. I had no idea it was that easy.
That's how easy it is.
That's how easy it is to make homemade milk.
Now, in the beginning, it has a little foam on the top where you know the air where you've squeezed it here.
And the AutoZone gloves work really good, don't they?
They work the best.
That's where I go get my gloves. I go to AutoZone and you just get the best gloves there, and they just work so good.
Now, I want to show you what I'm taking out of here. This is a pulp.
Okay.
See this here? This is actually the pulp off that nut. I'm going to use this in our next recipe.
What's it taste like?
You'd be surprised.
Kind of weird tasting?
No, it's not weird tasting. Can you pour that into here for me, Mark? You've got those
Probably
long...
not.
Oh, if he gets it all over, that's okay.
All right. Don't try this at home, kids.
And I'll tell you why, because I'm gonna make something here.
Woo! There we go.
Thank you.
Drink almond milk.
We need to paint some mustaches, huh?
You know, they spend $30 million a year paying celebrities to wear that little white mustache. $30 million a year. Oh, now you're going to make a chocolate milk. Oh, all right. You are making chocolate milk.
Why not?
Melody has chocolate milk within what? Within 2 minutes?
Within 2 minutes.
With carob, not even
carob.
any chocolate, a carob milk.
Try that one, see what you think of it.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is absolutely amazing. And by the way, now a lot of these recipes are in your cookbook too. So.
Yes, and I'm working on 2 more right now, so if they're not in that cookbook, they will be in the next one.
And anytime you want to get recipes, you can actually just tune into or call 3ABN. You can call 3ABN and get a hold of, you know, just say, hey, we want those recipes, and they'll send them out to you. So,
sure.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Strawberry.
Kids, anybody? Help yourself.
You know, moms spend a lot of money because kids like strawberry and chocolate milk. They don't have to.
Now, I wonder what the cost per portion would be on this as compared to buying it in the stores.
Oh, it would be ridiculous because I think I figured up what I had used in the nuts was probably in excess of 50 cents to $1 at the most.
So you'd be
for
paying...
a quart. At the and I'm probably figuring high.
And most grocery stores are $3 to $4 for a half gallon.
But there's no preservatives either.
Right.
Fresh.
And it's fresh.
It's fresh.
And how long would that last in the fridge then?
My house, a day.
Weeks? Well, yeah.
No, I would say a week. You know, it will separate a little bit from the water, you know, where the nut separates from the water, but you just stir it up again and pour it in. But no, I'd say at least a week. What'd you think of the strawberry?
That is amazing.
Isn't that good?
The chocolate one's actually my favorite.
Oh, sure. We love chocolate.
Wow.
Good.
Amen. That was too easy. And then you're actually going to use the pulp for another recipe. So you don't have to throw that away.
For our next recipe.
Okay. Well, maybe we should take a look at that recipe.
Let's do.
What it is.
This is for the almond dry cherried ice cookies. We want a ½ cup of earth balance or soy and margarine at room temperature, 1/2 cup plus 1 tablespoon of organic cane sugar, a ½ cup of almond pulp, 1/4 cup of fresh almond milk, 1 teaspoon of almond flavoring, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a ½ teaspoon of salt, a ½ cup of dried cherries diced, a ½ cup of almond slices roasted, 1½ cup of unbleached or white wheat flour, and that's sifted. For the icing, you'll want a ½ cup of organic confectioner's sugar, 1½ tablespoon of almond milk, 1 teaspoon of earth balanced margarine, 1/8 of a teaspoon almond flavoring, and that's just a drop.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot when it comes to
It really
almond.
doesn't, no.
And you want to get the alcohol free too. There are some that are
Sure,
alcohol free.
yeah. You definitely want to do that. As you can see, this is the pulp from those almonds that we did earlier.
That's amazing.
I know it is. Feel it.
It's just like,
It's so soft.
It's like a velvety.
Now, you didn't have to strain that, but you're going to have a grittier, you're going to have that nut meal in your milk. So by straining it out, I can use the whole nut
and
for
it
something
didn't
else.
take, and to blanch it didn't take but a few minutes to boil it off. And
You know, I'm busy doing
it.
something else and you don't even realize it. It just takes a few minutes to pop those off. This is my Earth Balance margarine that we're using here. This is the Florida cane crystals.
I was going to say, it looks like Florida crystals.
Yes, it is. We're going to dump those in. And then guess what we're going to use next? Our pulp.
Almond pulp.
Isn't this awesome?
Now, and there's a lot of nutritional value right there.
There
It would have got
is.
thrown away.
It would have gotten thrown away. And you know, for most people, they do that. You know, I haven't thought of something else I could do with that, but I'm sure there's something else that we can do with that pulp, you know?
I'll have to come up with a few recipes for it.
There you go. Whenever you and I had talked about doing a show about nuts, I thought, what can I do that would be just a little bit different what we've done before? And I thought, why not take the nut and do something with what's left over? And that's when I came up with the idea to do the almond milk.
Yeah, and actually everything we've done, we went from the veganaise, making almondaise out of that, and flipped that right into tartar sauce, and flipped that into different sauces. And it's the same thing with the almond milk. You go from your almond milk right into your other desserts, and you're saving the pulp, and everything kind of works good together like that. So,
It does.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm all for it. A lot of my recipes, you'll see, I use a lot of the same ingredients. And the reason why I like to do that is I don't want to go, you know, you've only got so much space in your kitchen, but I want the best and the most items I use. And we do eat a lot of variety of foods. We don't just stick to, you know, they say that most people have 7 different meals that they make. I bet you I have 15 to 20 at minimum.
Okay.
You know,
I was going to say 70.
Oh, yeah.
70 times 7. I mean, it's
and I've even heard it said that, oh, people feel sorry for vegetarians because we have a limited diet. Do you feel limited?
Oh yeah. And they're like, what am I going to eat? You know? And it's actually amazing because when you go on a vegan diet, you actually, you know, you spend less time in the kitchen, you're simplifying the way you eat. And there's over 900 types of fruits and vegetables out there, and the varieties are unlimited. It is just so easy to find a more variety of foods to eat.
There are. This is my almond flavoring that I'm using here, like you said, the non-alcohol kind. And then my vanilla.
Last time I was in Mexico, I went and got an alcohol-free vanilla, and I have one with me. I'll have to bring it. I'll have to get it for you.
Do you ever use the powder? I've used the white powder.
No, I haven't used that.
I love to use it when I'm using a recipe, especially something that's in the dessert line. I don't want to change the color. I'll use the white powder or the clear.
Okay.
I've used those before too. Now look at that base there, and you're thinking, oh, that's kind of wet. Well, let's take our roasted almond slivers here. And these are the dried cherries. These are really good. I love dried cherries. I like cherries any way I can get them.
And then all you have to do is whip all that together.
I just mix it all together, and then I'm going to add my flour to this.
Okay.
Then we're going to scoop them out.
And you using regular flour or rice flour?
This is regular flour because I already made some of the cookies that were wheat-free.
Okay,
so
you're not allowed to have any.
I'm not allowed to have any of this.
And then we do have to make some icing too, huh?
We do. So, you know, I have all the ingredients here, Mark. If you want to take the confectioner's sugar, just a little bit of the soy margarine, a little bit of the almond flavoring, and some of the soy milk. So we're reusing, we use, almond milk. I'm using almond milk in here, you use an almond milk in here, and that's the one that we blended earlier.
So convection sugar and a little Earth Balance margarine. And
I always use organic because of the charring of sugar. They use bone meal in some of the charring process. So I always try to use the organic so I don't have to worry about that.
And I'm actually going to add a little bit of that almond flavoring. And you have to add some almond milk, you said, right here, too.
Yeah, just a little bit. We don't want it too thin.
Try a little bit at once and see how far it goes.
You know, frosting's one of those things when you make it, it starts out really dry, and then no time you've got a wet, it's too wet. So I always, a little bit's less. It's better. You want a little more.
I think it might.
You want a little more.
Yeah, you can get carried away with it.
Oh.
There we go. We're
that
having
looks
a
really
mixing
good.
competition going on right here.
Now,
Melody's in the lead, but Mark is catching up.
actually, you can take one of the little,
Look at that. See how it's...
yes, great.
And if I added, what, another couple drops, it'd be too much probably, right?
It would be. It would
Okay.
be.
Cool. Hey. Winner!
Stand back. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my spoon here. Normally I would use an ice cream scoop, Mark, but I'm just going to scoop them on a tray. Of course, there's margarine in here, so you've got that fat. You don't need to spray this and add more fat to it.
Okay.
Now, if somebody out there said, you know, I don't want to use the
I could use this on
margarine,
my cinnamon rolls.
you could. If you didn't want to use the margarine, what would you use? I would say coconut milk. It's an essential fat, and you can use the coconut milk too, but
So
you
this
need
is going
some
to go
fat.
in the oven.
It's going to bake at 350 degrees, and the time on this, I think, is 12 to 15 minutes.
Okay, not very long. And then when they come out, you can just drizzle them like this, huh?
Yes.
Just that easy. Woo! A little too much there. All right.
Yeah, a little bit of
Well, it's
cookie with it.
pretty easy to do.
It is easy.
And now, if people want to get a hold of you, maybe we can put up an address roll and show people how, if you want to get a hold of Melody, you can give her a call or contact her a number of different ways. So we'll show how they can get a hold of you there.
Sure.
If you would like to contact Melody to invite her to your church, then you can write to Your Healthy Helper, 1425 Apple Valley Drive, Howard, Ohio 43028. That's Your Healthy Helper, 1425 Apple Valley Drive, Howard, Ohio 43028. You can call 740-398-6491. That's 740-398-6491. You can also email her at yourhealthyhelper@yahoo.com. It's all one word, yourhealthyhelper@yahoo.com. Contact her today. She'd love to hear from you.
It is written, and his Arabian radio.
Throw a little.
These are pine nuts.
Oh, hey,
Yes.
your favorite. Do a presentation. I mean, you can go absolutely nuts with the things you're doing and still make it easy. This is a real easy. See how plain it looks when you look at a black background
Can we
and
show
everything?
them
It
a
just
few
kind of
things?
looks plain. Yeah, yeah.
Looky here. Look at this. This is a
Just a cooking pot.
Yeah, a cooking pot. You could use boxes, you can use bowls, you can use whatever. And by using the same color cloth, you know, tone on tone, you give it the depth and the texture that you need.
Cover
From
it
that
up.
point, you can do whatever you want to with it.
Right, so we did some different heights. We wanted to get some height and some depth to the presentation. And then you can just go to town. And we got some simple leaves, which were really easy to find. I found them at the dollar store. You know, they're real, very inexpensive, and you can just throw little leaves anywhere you want, and even some of the smaller leaves.
You know, a lot of people might think, oh, you know, that's nothing I'll use. You would be surprised. Like he said, what have you got, $3 invested in this? You can set your table up, put a cloth out there, put some texture, and guess what? People come over and they'll say, wow, that's really awesome. They think you spent a lot of money and a lot of time, and guess what?
Right.
You didn't.
No.
You didn't.
If you really want to get carried away,
Let's go nutty.
go nuts.
Let's go nuts.
Go nuts.
Let's
You
just
could
throw some
just
nuts
throw
out.
pockets of nuts here.
And this is
You got
something that
pecans.
you can do, and
Got walnuts right here.
and people come over and they can eat them. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, we just put anywhere you want to put these. You can just create your own little creation here.
These are pine nuts.
Oh, hey,
Yes.
your favorite. I've got your favorite right here.
I love almonds. I love them because of they're just so good for you.
Now, if you're going to do some nuts like this, these still have the shells in them, so you can have particular places. Certain times of the year, you can get those shelled nuts. And then you could actually put the nut crackers out here too.
Yes, you know, this was too early. I did look for them for us, but I could not find any. It's just way too early. But it's really nice when you have all the different shelled nuts out and some nutcrackers. And your family, the people you're entertaining, guess what? They get to come over and they get to crack their own nuts. I think it's so fun.
Here, I'm going to sneak right around the front.
Just make sure you have no squirrels.
Let me sneak right around the front here, and I'm just going to hit that front row.
Yeah, you have those long arms.
See how easy that is? I know, I can't even reach the front, though. Even with my long arms, I cannot reach the front. So, yeah, you can go absolutely nuts like this, though. And it's something you're going to eat later on, so it's not like you're going to throw anything away. And it's just that easy to make.
Look at the Brazil nuts. Love Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts are so good for you, too.
It seems like every nut has a purpose. You know, you get the amino acids here. Look at the walnuts. They're good for the brain, too, and they're shaped like a brain.
Yep. Macadamia nuts. But what a creative way. Here's some more of these. What a creative way.
Oh, I love macadamians.
To have a presentation that just wows people. They're going to come over and they're going to look at this and say, wow. And then all of a sudden everything's vegan and they're looking at it and they're like, and everything is vegan too? And that's the way we really can impress upon people. When we get to them through the health message, I mean, the health message is so important right now. And people are really striving. We have got the worst health of any country on the planet.
We do.
America has the highest death rate from killer diseases of any country on the planet. And when we, present a health message saying, hey, there's a healthier way to live, people are listening. So anything you can do to reach other people through the health message is an absolute blessing, and that's why God put us here, so that we can be servants to, called to do this type of work.
You know, you go out and you do these seminars too. People are sick of being sick, Mark, and they're coming in. I can't tell you how many, 50, 60 in a seminar of non-Christians, non-Adventist Christians, people who are coming in and saying, you know, I feel like I can think more. I feel better. I'm open to truth.
You were talking about a church that,
yes,
when you saw how many sick people were on their roster.
Yes. Yes. You know, that's something I said when I go into churches or venues and I see, I always go there on the church service day and I look in their bulletins and I notice, pray for him, he's got heart disease, they've got diabetes, whatever. And I go to their potluck and I notice those churches have the highest rate of dairy. And when I see all the dairy, the cheese and the milk and the eggs, I see a sick church.
Yeah, amazing. And when they're not eating those type of foods, you've got a healthier church.
Well, yeah, they're praying for so-and-so going here or somebody's daughter, but it's not for them. They're not sick.
Yeah, it's just statistical facts. It's just a statistical fact. The higher the cholesterol levels in your body, the higher the death rate, the higher the killer diseases. And that's why we do these. We really try to encourage people to, get healthier. And step by step, you can just take one step at a time. You don't have to do everything all at once. You can do baby steps.
Yeah, for some people, they'll just go right in 100%. Some people take baby steps to do it. Whatever it is for your needs, for your family, just do it. Start doing something. If it's just walking, cut one thing out of your diet that you know is bad for you. Just do something to help change your life. Use discernment. What do I need to do? Where do I need to make my changes? And make those changes.
Right, and after you start making one step at a time, pretty soon you're going to be saying, hey, I can make more steps. And then pretty soon you're just going to go nuts. You're just going to go say, hey, I can do all these healthy things. And pretty soon you're going nuts about the health message. I find so many people across the country that are just excited about going vegan because they're getting healthy, they're energized, they feel better.
And they love the food.
I mean, they're just, amen.
They say, if it tastes this good, why eat the other stuff? Why eat it?
Yeah, amen. Well, hey, I really want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and I thank you for supporting 3ABN. 3ABN cannot do it without you.
Amen.
It's just an absolute blessing that this 3ABN ministry is here to reach the entire world with the message and the health message. And we just are so happy that you're supporting 3ABN. You can get our recipes right off the website, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Amen.
Good job, James. Oh,